I am Faye Ellington, and it is indeed a pleasure for me to lead the proceedings for this afternoon's function. We are here today to recognize the contribution of some of the unsung heroes of our society, men and women who, by the work they do in our homes every day, make our lives run smoothly. Now, this is a joint effort of GraceKennedy Limited and the Jamaica Household Workers Union. Household workers help many of us balance work and family and make it possible for seniors and people with disabilities to remain in their homes and communities, as we are increasingly seeing in Jamaica. We've not yet embraced the practice of placing our elderly in the homes, not all of us. But before we have any further discussion, may I invite you to stand for the playing of the national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. Let me recognize the presence of the Most Honorable Juliet Holness, who will be our guest speaker today, as well as our special guests and our honorees.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for your presence here with us today. Lord, I want to ask your blessings on the proceedings. I thank you for the reason we're here, for remembering someone who was special to us and in whose honor we recognize several persons today, persons who contribute to our lives, making our lives easier and helping us to contribute to society in a productive way. Father, we just ask your blessings on the meal that we're about to partake in. Pray that you'll bless it to our bodies. And Father, help us to remember those who have no meal and to be always mindful of the needs of others. Thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
We're going to be moving along with the program, having fortified our bodies. Let us now return to the meat of today's matter, the award ceremony. And at this point, I'd like to invite the Group CEO of GraceKennedy Limited, Senator Don Webby, to address us. Senator Webby.
Good afternoon again, everyone. This is really a very special occasion for us at GraceKennedy. And in fact, this is one of our top events for the year when we honor what I refer to as our unsung heroes. Let me especially welcome the Most Honorable Juliet Holness. She is here but just stepped out for a minute. Mrs. Holness, as you know, is the wife of our Prime Minister and I guess more importantly, Member of Parliament for East Rural St. Andrew. I first met Juliet when she was a senior manager. She was actually an auditor at Price Waterhouse, and she would audit Hilo Supermarket, the best supermarket in Jamaica. Right, Jackie? Let me especially welcome our judges, and I'd ask them to be stand and recognized. Our chief judge this year is Mr. Anthony Lawrence. Tony, give him a round of applause. Maisie Miller, Maisie. Maisie, just for information, gave me a cooking lesson in terms of how to cook a Grace ham. And I found it very challenging. But I made it, right, Maisie? All right. Burl Francis. Burl. Angela Granison Reed. My dearest Mrs. Madden. Mrs. Madden is a Jamaican hero. When I meet with Mrs. Madden, and I said, I have 15 minutes, I'm there for an hour, because she's so interesting in terms of all our stories about the two Jamaicas that we're living in. Glenda Mills, Dr. Glenda Mills, Glenda. Sims. I'm not sure, it sounds like I'm thinking about Usain Bolt and his coach. And Valda, is Valda here? Valda, welcome Valda. I also want to use this opportunity, and Lenny is here, really to thank Dr. Heather Littlewhite, a real Grace icon, for really leaving a legacy in terms of instilling the passion of wanting to help. I look at Maisie and Angela, and they are really products of Heather. You know, when I became Group CEO in 2011, Lenny, I think I told you that Heather was one of the first calls that I got congratulating me and really offering her support. She was a dear family friend of the Masolomons and of my family. I really miss her, Lenny, and her legacy will live on for a long, long time. You know, GraceKennedy, this year we are 96 years old, and we are now focused on being 100 in 2022. Give us a clap then, man. 22. And you know, in reflecting, I would say one of our philosophy is that to whom much is given, much is expected, which is why we're doing our best to have a better Jamaica. The Household Workers Union and this event, this is our 5th successive year that we're doing it. And I would say for the GraceKennedy Heather Littlewhite Household Workers Award, we are here to stay. This is going to be going on for a very, very long time. As I've always referred to our household workers, they are our unsung heroes. My mother was a teacher for 40 years, my father engineer at Cable and Wireless. But when you think about my life and growing up, you know, I think about Carmen, my helper when I was probably up to 12. And she used to say, "Don, you can chatty." What a way I've changed, right? Except in the Senate last week, Friday. And then, you know, Lizzie, who came to work with us when my daughter was born, worked with us for 24 years. And she's now retired. But, you know, she visits us on a quarterly basis, and when she's there, the family, what we call it, Grace, our Gladbach boss, Justice Lizzie, she's very special. You know, on a more serious note, I don't know if you remember, I'm sure Mrs. Price remember, that in 2016, I invited our Prime Minister Andrew Holness, whose real claim to fame is Juliet's husband. That's a joke, guys. Laugh more now, man. to be guest speaker here right at the Pegasus. And right then and there, our Honorable Prime Minister committed, Charles, in terms of ratifying the ILO Convention C-89, also known as the Domestic Workers Convention, really to promote decent working conditions for all Jamaicans. Well, you know, I'm very pleased that in the same year, our government, our Prime Minister, ratified the Domestic Workers Convention. On September 2016, our Prime Minister was participating in the United Nations Forum on Economic Empowerment of Women at the UN headquarters in New York. And I want to quote him because I really believe that is important. He said, and I'm quoting Prime Minister Holness, we are committed to the protection of rights of the most vulnerable among us, and to ensure the welfare of domestic workers within the framework of our determination to promote a decent work for all. How powerful is that, colleagues? He went on to say that, and he recognized the presence of Shirley Price as a staunch advocate for women's empowerment and the right of domestic workers in Jamaica. And I'm going to quote him again. He said, I'm pleased to announce that Jamaica has signed, by virtue of her, in quotation, Miss Price, because she was very instrumental in the ILO Domestic Workers Convention. Mrs. Price is here with us. I want her to be stand and recognized. Shirley, on behalf of GraceKennedy, on behalf of Jamaica, on behalf of all workers, I salute you, madam. I salute you for your hard work and commitment. As I said before, one of the reasons why this event is probably my favorite on the GraceKennedy calendar is that we are, as I said, 96 years old. And when I think about how we have, for want of a better term, survived for 96 years when other companies are not around, I always land on the values by our founding fathers. And that's why I think we have such a great company. Our values are very simple: honesty, integrity, and trust. And our philosophy, again, or one of, is that we care. And it's that we care philosophy that we are bringing here this evening. We care about our household workers. They are a part of everybody's family. And we wanted to say and recognize to all household workers, thank you. And you represent the values of GraceKennedy, of honesty, integrity, trust, and we care. Because I want to tell you, I know I might talk about Carmen a lot, but when I started to become a little bit more known, it's not strange for Carmen to be showing that I know him from my baby, right? And look how him grow. Because the truth is, Carmen was like my second mother. That's the only way to describe it. And she was so proud. I miss her dearly. It's Christmas time, and this is a change to the usual timing of this event. But I think this is a great time because Christmas represents family. And you know, when I was driving up here, I felt the hustle and bustle, and everybody, the shopping and the gifts and all that sort of a thing. And I said to myself, sometimes, Don, as a country, Madam Holness, I'm wondering if we really lose the true meaning of Christmas. Really lose the true meaning of Christmas. I'm not a very religious person, but I will quote something that came to mind. Jean, I know you're the religious person. when the hustle and bustle and the gift giving and so. And it's from the book of John. And it says, and God showed his love for us by sending his only Son into the world so that we might have life through him. You know, that is the true meaning of Christmas. True meaning of Christmas. And then I thought about growing up, and Ratcliffe Daly is here, Ratcliffe, and some of the values, because we're talking as a family now. We're talking as a family about reflecting on my parents. My mother was a teacher for 40 years with Jimmy, Bluesy, we would call her, and my dad, an engineer, said. And there are 4 things that they have always said to me throughout my life. And since we're a family, I want to share them with you because it's Christmas, right? The first one I said was, ad majorem del gloriam, for the greater glory of God. Family is the most important institution in life. And this is the one that I've always stuck in my mind through St. George's College, through university, and through my ascendancy in terms of being a group CEO of the largest company in the Caribbean. And I take it very seriously. I hear my mother's voice every time I read this. It says, don't be impressed by money or title. Be impressed by humility, integrity, kindness, and hard work. Don't be impressed by money and title. Be impressed by humility, integrity, kindness, and hard work. And the last one, and I'm living proof that you must never do it. Never give up on your dreams. Never give up on your dreams. Those are the 4 thoughts that I'd share with you since we're in Christmas and family. I shared with my parents to me. I now want to recognize the winners of last year. Sherilyn Williams. Am I pronouncing your name right? Sorry, don't. Sorry. Don't take me on. As long as I'm close, beg you forgive me. When I walked in, you made my day. You actually made the year. I asked her, she was the winner of last year, and I asked her, how are you doing? She said, I'm doing well. So she went to the city and guild and improved her education. So I said to her, oh, that's what you did with the prize money. She said, no, Mr. Webby, I used the prize money to pay down on a house. I want to big you up. Give her a big round of applause again. Sorry, when you said that to me, it made me feel well happy, sir. Well happy. Because that's a dream of every... Jamaicans have dreams, you know. 2 things. You want to own your own house, and you want to pick them have a good education. And we are so happy that we were here for you, to help you to achieve one of your dreams. Herbert Foster. Is Herbert here? No, Herbert not here. Can I ask all the previous winners to stand up or participating in the event? Give them a big round of applause. You know, as I add up the prizes, Mariam is here. First global, you can stand. And high-low, where's Donna? Is Donna here? Donna Taylor, right? High-low. You know, I'm a numbers man at times, right, Tony? So I totted it up, right? And over the years, high-low and First Global and GraceKennedy, to this award function and the cash and prizes, and so we have contributed 7 million Jamaican dollars. And this year is even going to be more exciting. So for the winners will receive $330,000 in an FGB account. Mariam, when I round it up to 350, man. And $25K in high-low gift vouchers. So thank you very much, First Global. Thank you very much, Hilo. Each winner will also receive 100K towards their education or a special course, which is fantastic. Or listen to this one carefully, or 100,000 towards education for a student of their choosing. So the winner, you can choose a child, any child, and say, listen, $100,000, GraceKennedy is going to pay for their education for a year. I think that's powerful. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, my team from GraceKennedy. So the other thing I was trying to work out this morning with Gay and Catherine and Stephen Whittingham, we have a GraceKennedy Value Rewards program. And surely I believe that in partnership with GraceKennedy, we can have a really, really win-win situation. I'm sure how much members you have now? 5,900 members of the Household Workers Union. So what I'm committing, and I've asked Catherine to meet with you, is that we want to offer all your members a GKVR card. And in addition to that, we're going to be putting some special points on it so they can start their shopping. I had a note written down. I'm sometimes famous for being overgenerous, right, Simone? So, Charles, in addition to that, all your members, beginning next year, and we have to work out the process, Donna and yourself and Catherine, will receive a 5% discount from Hilo. All your members, 5,900 members. So again, in closing, I would like to thank all of you. Good luck. This is a very, Tony said it was very competitive. Hey, you know, so the judge, I'm not sure if he's still doing it, in that corporate room at GraceKennedy, upstairs, right near to me, right? So I am there walking past, it wasn't this year, it was last year, and colleagues, friends, one piece of cow balling, judges are balling now. And I said, boy, some of these stories that the employers write about their household helper, is just so emotional, and it touches your heart. And Tony, you know I'm a crier, so don't bother invite me in there. Anyway, so it's Christmas. May I close by saying, may the Christmas season fill your home with joy, your hearts with love, and your life with laughter. I want to take this opportunity on behalf of GraceKennedy to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. I always finish my speeches, which my colleagues know, by saying, God bless Jamaica, the greatest country in the world. Thank you very much.
Honesty, integrity, and trust. Whether we are a company or an individual, that is all that we need. And then we just need to tag on to that. We just need to care. That's all. And we're good. Good to go. Good to go. The Jamaica Household Workers Union must be commended for turning the spotlight on this very important sector. The driving force behind this organization is the dynamic Shirley Price. Ms. Price is co-founder and president of the union, which is celebrating its 27th anniversary. She's also founder of the Caribbean Domestic Workers Network, the Antigua Domestic Workers Association, and one of the founders of the International Domestic Workers Federation. Clapper, clapper, clapper. She's been a human rights advocate for 25 years, voluntarily championing the empowerment and rights of domestic workers around the globe. I now invite Ms. Price to address us. Sister Price, Ms. Shirley.
Most Honorable Juliet Onis, MP, Mr. Webby, nominees for the award, JHW members, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, judges, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased and proud to stand here before you today in the name of the Jamaica Household Workers Union. This is yet another golden day in what has been a challenging yet exciting journey for me. Along the way, I've learned so much. I have been exposed to the fact that the situation of domestic workers in Jamaica is far from unique. In fact, in many instances, it is much better than what prevails in many other countries. But we still have a long way to go to ensure and to protect the rights of domestic workers. In 1991, I set out on a mission to change the landscape of domestic workers in this country. I know that domestic workers are particularly vulnerable to human rights abuses with respect to working conditions. Now, while I may speak to the general conditions of household workers, I am very aware of the fact that there are many Jamaican households that treat their domestic workers as part of their family, as Mr. Webby just said just now. And in this case, with several of you right here in this room, these employers treat their workers with respect and often pay them more than the minimum wage, along with many other perks. This is one of the reasons why these awards are so important. They bring to the attention of those workers who are victimized that they are reasonable and compassionate. They are reasonable and compassionate employers who do care for their staff. That they have union that will lobby for their interests. But there are still many cases of domestic workers laboring for excessive long hours, carrying an extremely heavy workload with very small pay and with no access to social protection. I just give an example. One day somebody called and asked me to send them a domestic worker, a day's worker. And I sent them the day's worker. And the lady went to the job and she called me to say that she left. I said, oh, you left and you just reached. She said when she went there, it's 3 barrels of clothes to wash for the day's work, 3 barrels. Those barrels that come from overseas. In a day, 1 day's work for $3,000. So it's $1,000 per barrel. So she went and she looked at the work and she just walked away. I said, good. So the lady called me back. I said, we don't work like that. You know, so I'm saying that sometimes it's really bad, but sometimes it's good too. You know, speaking a little about Dr. Ada Liku White. Dr. Liku White was my mentor. She pushed me to do everything that everything in my life, almost, is Dr. Liku White pushed me. Every day she always called me, encouraged me, come and sit with me. I always go to her office to sit down and tell her my whole life story, what is happening to me. And she will say, do this, do that, do that. But what she wanted from me is for me to go to school. She said, you cannot be domestic work all the day of your life. You have too much potential. Me not see you at the house. Go do your degree, go do your degree, go do your degree. Me not have time for your degree because I'm a living domestic workers. But then I followed her lead and I went, I did my degree. And it may take me a longer time than others, but I got my degree in social work. Right? And she encourages me again and said, I want to call her doctor. And she keep on calling me Dr. Price. Dr. Price. You know, and all the time she said, you must go and do your doctorate. You must go and do your master's. She's always pushing me You know, anytime she gets any job from overseas, she's always saying, have this job, you know, which only member you want to give this to. Most time it's somebody would go and, you know, spend it 2 years and come back and all of that. But she's always pushing. I'm sorry that she's not here, you know, really to see me today and to see the progress that we have gained, you know, the union and personally for me. Because I stand here as a master's, advanced master, not even a master's. I have an advanced master's in labor law. So, you know, I'm very proud of myself, and I'm very proud that, you know, many of the members right there are following my lead. They're following my footstep because most of them are in school and are traveling the world also. Nikki just come back from 2 trips. Elaine have been to many. You know, so we are growing from strength to strength. Domestic work is an important source of employment, but the people behind these numbers are too often invisible behind the doors of private household without any access to workers' protection. While most Jamaican labor laws apply to household workers, labor inspection and enforcement of legislation are difficult in private households. And even more so, the organization of a collective action is even more challenging. And this has to change. Given the social and economic invisibility and the accompanying low status of domestic workers, who are often exploitative, this is why labor law protection is so important for this category of worker. In practical terms, the real condition of works and employment of domestic workers not only depends on the extent of which labor laws offer them protection, but also on the level and the way that these laws, in fact, are enforced by authorities. Protection of household workers is a single-minded mission of the Jamaica Household Workers Union, which was formally registered into a trade union in 2013, 5 years ago or so. Through the Household Workers Union, we educate, we organize, we negotiate collective agreement, we enhance workers' productivity, and promote work harmony. We also do mediation service, training, advocacy for the rights, and advocate for the rights of domestic workers. Today, I am calling on the government to take action and to enhance the quality of life of many domestic workers in setting up the much-needed Domestic Workers Training Institute. This will be the only first in the Caribbean. Mrs. Onis, this is a message for you, ma'am. The PM commit himself. Yeah, when he was there the last time, he committed himself and he said, this institution is well needed. And he want to see it through. We got a syllabus from heart, and now we are looking at venue. So we identify a space, and we need to let you know where the space is, so we can move forward. You know, because everyone needs a trained domestic worker. Everybody called the office, I need a trained domestic workers. But where are we going to get them to train? Art is not a fit for domestic worker because domestic worker cannot go to school in the day. It has to be on weekends and evening. So that's the plan. But I know change is coming. Yes, it is coming. And if we can be asked to speak at the Nobel Peace Prize conference in Germany as a domestic worker, that means change is coming. Our change is here. Yes. If domestic worker can be invited to Canada to speak at the Pan-American Conference in Victoria with more than 100 parliamentarians, change is coming. If domestic worker can be asked to speak at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in London, and to be asked as a distinguished guest to the House of Commons and to meet with Prime Minister Theresa May, change is here. If a domestic worker can be invited to Senegal and to be asked to come to a meeting, and when a domestic worker reached, the Senegalian woman awarded the domestic worker as an invisible giant, change is coming. If a domestic worker can be awarded a Caribbean Woman of the Year, change is here. This never happened. Change is here. And I must say, yes, change is here, or I can say change is coming. However, in Jamaica, we need to step it up. Domestic workers in Jamaica need to be recognized more. What I'm feeling out there, I'm not feeling it here as I really want to. This is the base. You know, we want to be recognized more. So we all of you in the room here, we need help to push for visibility of domestic worker in Jamaica. And for even the union, because a lot of people say they don't know about the union. But because of our limited resources, we cannot do it alone. So collectively, we can do it. And I'm asking all of you here to help us to push for that. Yes, Sophia, are coming shortly. What we have achieved today shows the power of movement. Movements of workers that demand change. Movements of women that promote hopeful vision for the new ways in which we can relate to each other. It was the growing movement of domestic workers around the world and our capacity to capture the imagination of trade union movements and government internationally that got domestic worker onto the agenda of the ILO, the International Labour Organization, in the first place, and for the decent work for domestic worker. It is through the power of movement that we have gained 27 ratification of Convention 189 across the world, including Jamaica. Thanks to Prime Minister Onis, who at this very award said, I will sign, and in less than 3 months, he signed that ratification of Convention 189. Must commend him for that. And I know that in 3 months, he's going to push for the school with us too. I know that. If he say it, I know he's going to do it. Over the past 27 years, we have built our organizing, we have built our network, we have built alliances. We are so proud that today we have an international domestic worker federation with over 60 affiliates in 49 countries and 600,000 members. That I'm one of the founders of that federation. In our own union, we now have 5,900 members and 13 chapters island-wide. One of our next projects is to end violence against women in our lifetime. With a focus on violence in the world of work at the ILO next year, we are creating space for women workers to intensify the gendered impact of discrimination and violence we face across our work realities, and to influence a strong standard. We do not want a 16-day activism against gender-based violence. We want to campaign for awareness, from awareness to accountability, and to transition in from 16 days to 365 days of campaign. It must be a 1 year long, not 16 days. Today, awardees, we celebrate you. I'm looking, all over, I don't know where they are. So we celebrate you today. And, I'm imploring all of you domestic workers in here to take pride in your job. Be honest. Be flexible. Be punctual. Be caring. Be hardworking. And most importantly, be trustworthy. I believe domestic workers must have rights and equal terms as other workers. We must be free from discrimination and exploitation. This freedom will enable us to live in peace, security, and dignity. We all need to stand up and to bring down poverty, unemployment, and poor working conditions. Domestic workers must speak up and speak out for their rights. We must take a stand. We all have different stories to tell. We have common hopes and dreams. But what we need is a change in attitude. We need to broaden our minds and to broaden our hearts for real change. So I ask you that we work together, we march together, to join together in one united voice. Even the weak become strong when they are united. So domestic workers' rights are women's rights, and women's rights are human rights. So stand with us as we join the national campaign for gender equality. No excuse for abuse. I can see some of my sisters down there. Auntie Lynette, Auntie Judith, Auntie Joyce are fighting for the cause. Let us all join together with them. They are the front runner down there, fighting for years to get the change. But the change is yet to come. So now we said collectively, we can do it. Let us fight together to win this change. We are highly encouraged to support and the Jamaica household workers and the GraceKennedy Award. And we don't know how to say thanks to Mr. Webby and the team and the staff of GraceKennedy. We don't know how to say thanks because, trust me, and they work so hard, hours and night, long days, and Diane, we are grateful. Give Diane a hand, yes, give Diane a clap, man. Clap Diane. She has been so good, So, on behalf of the Jamaica Household Worker Union, I wish you all the very best for 2019 with gratitude and in sisterhood and also brotherhood and for respect, equality, and dignity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All of them places where your name I only dream about or read about. But you've been and you've made your mark. Thank you so much. Now, this function presents us with an opportunity not only to salute the winners of this year's award program, but also to recognize previous winners. And we have with us today our inaugural winner, Elaine Duncan. Elaine, where are you? We also have with us Michael Lawson and Millicent Clunis, male and female champions for the year 2016. And we also have last year's winners, Sherilyn Williams-Case. Did Anthony Houston make it? No, we're not seeing him. Well, we also have with us three persons who we want to especially recognize today. They have been very instrumental to these awards becoming a reality. So if you'll allow me to just find my thingamabob right here, so. And them don't know, which is what is nice. After reading the tribute, I'm going to ask, so you don't have to come up here now, I'm going to invite each person after I read your tribute to the podium, and then Senator Don Webby will present a token. This person, when you think of this person, you think of passion, tenacity, compassion, professionalism, and decorum. These are truly just a few of the words that aptly describe PR professional, philanthropist, social activist, and writer Jean Laurie Chin. Watch you know, shock, shock. You have any smelling salts there, madam? Just put a little at the nose. The Convent of Mercy, don't get her up here yet, please, sir. I have a little bit to read. The Convent of Mercy Academy, Alpha, and the University of the West Indies alumna began her illustrious media communications career at the iconic Jamaica Daily News as a journalist before teaching at Calabar High School. Media beckoned once more with the 1976 Carrie Festa, and that was the event held in Kingston. And thereafter, she worked with the Dunlop Corp in Compton before launching her own firm in December 1978, and you'd know she's celebrating 40 years. PRO Communications Limited, known in business and communication circles as Procom, but initially public relations operations, has been instrumental in building several significant brands in Jamaica, including Ray Nephew Limited, Digicel, Sandals Group, and the Electoral Office of Jamaica and the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. And equally, in encouraging greater recognition for Jamaica's teachers, nurses, police officers, and of course, household workers. The latter was conceptualizer of the GraceKennedy Heather Little White Household Worker of the Year Award. As a writer, Jean has been a columnist for the Jamaica Observer newspaper since 2001, and in 2008 published a collection of poems, recollections and observations entitled Soul Dance. Beyond writing, Jean created Flair magazine for the Gleaner in 1984 and edited the publication for over 3 years. She also created Chill, which was the forerunner to today's popular Youth Link, and other publications in providing a platform for communicating to young people. Her concern for the plight and needs of the elderly led Jean in 2010 to start the Caribbean Community of Retired Persons, CCRP, with Procom as a major sponsor of this organization. Amid her undoubted success, Jean has sustained and increased her selfless devotion to social development, notably as chair of the Digicel Jamaica Foundation, a position she has held since 2014. This has naturally earned her several awards, including the Women's Media Watch Trailblazer Award, the Alpha Academy Alumni Woman of Excellence Award, and the Jamaica 50 Award, presented to 50 women deemed nation builders by the Jamaica Women's Bureau. More recently, she was recognized with a national award from the government of Jamaica, the Order of Distinction in the rank of Commander Class. GraceKennedy is pleased to honor Jean Laurie Chin for her pioneering role in encouraging household workers to continue in the delivery of excellent service and expressing appreciation for their important contribution to national development. May I invite you, Jean Laurie Chin. Senator Don Webby will make a token presentation. I don't know why I'm tempted to sing. Fear we love have lion heart, fear we love have lion heart, strong and everlasting, Ongle Jean. Thank you, Faye. I love when people are surprised, really surprised. Jean walks non-stop, you know, may I tell you, not working, a walk, non-stop. And the second person, there are three. You recently heard from her, Shirley Price. Shirley Price, she's frightened to what you know. She's co-founder and president of the Jamaica Household Workers Union. This week they're celebrating their 25th anniversary. She's also founder of the Caribbean Domestic Workers Network, Antigua Domestic, you know, all of that. A former domestic worker. She has held human rights advocate positions for 25 years, championing and the empowerment and rights of domestic workers around the globe. Notice I said globe, all right? She sits on many boards, including the Association of Women's Rights in Development, that is based in Canada, and is a member of the Caribbean Advisory Group to the United Nations Women on Gender Issues. In 2011, she completed her bachelor's degree in social work from the Jamaica Theological Seminary University, and last year completed an advanced master's degree in labor and global workers' rights from the Pennsylvania State University. You heard a bit more about her from herself. So may I invite Senator Don Webby to accompany my sister Shirley Price up. Feel we love have lion heart, feel we love have lion heart, strong and everlasting, Uncle Fish Shirley. And the next person who I hope will be surprised as well. Many people know this person as co-host of Smile Jamaica. Watch her now, if you're out there, and she doesn't know how to behave, by the way. But perhaps few know of her as a former competitive high school track athlete. She ran faster than Usain, with not one but two prestigious schools. You can't beat me. Oh, sorry. I tell you, she brings out the worst in me. Simone first representing Immaculate Conception at Girls' Champs before moving on to Woolmer's Girls' School, where she did sixth form and also flew the school's flag at Champs. That drive for excellence would lead her to a media career, as with another well-known Jamaican woman, Simone Clark Cooper started in 1994 through a popular television youth show called Rappin'. Nobody the ballin'. Oh. Blessed with the gift of gab and a love for life and laughter, she hasn't looked back. In 1997, she transitioned to radio with Fame 95 FM, serving variously as announcer and executive producer for the next 14 years. Jean, give her your handkerchief. Simone returned to television and began her now familiar role, in fact, as a producer of what was then Morning Time in 1997. Yes, she used to produce me and Lindy. Also working as a newsreader for that program. Some 2 years later, she moved into the co-host's chair. After leaving television for a couple of years, Simone eventually returned to Smile Jamaica in 2007. Viewers have also become accustomed to seeing her at the finals of the iconic Schools Challenge quiz broadcast. Herself and Neville, both of them, no behavior. The New Year's Eve presentations on the waterfront and other events. In addition to her on-air work, Simone also has a solid background on stage. That's why she carry on like that. Having participated in Kathy Levy's Little People and Teen Players, and that's throughout her students' years at the university as well with the UWI Dramatic Arts Society. She returned to the commercial stage in 2014 as part of the cast of Oliver Mayer's hit review, Laugh It Off. She also teaches voice, speech, and presentation, does voiceovers, and performs MC duties. Jungle, a little bit, but yeah. Sorry, they didn't write that, I just said that. Throughout her diverse public and corporate engagement, Simone has never lost sight of the fundamental values of family, respect, and care for the vulnerable, and the importance of hard work. These she has exercised in her support for a number of social causes, and it is indeed evident in her role as co-conceptualizer of the GraceKennedy Heather Little White Household Work of the Year Award. Clap her. Senator, GraceKennedy is pleased to honor Simone Clark Cooper for her pioneering role in encouraging household workers to continue in the delivery of excellent service and expressing appreciation for their important contribution to national development. Feel we love have lion heart, feel we love have lion heart. What am I doing now? What am I supposed to sing, say? And everlasting, Uncle Fish Simone. No mine, you hear Punkos? No mine. No holla, nobody holla.
Yeah, she's returning to GraceKennedy in January.
Me hear, little news about say she'll go back home at GraceKennedy. Me hear them a talk in January because, you know, me happy. Isn't it nice when you surprise people and show appreciation? Congrats, Simone. Congrats to the three ladies, Jean, Shirley, and Simone. All right. I'm going to now invite Ryan Mack, CEO of GK Foods, Domestic, to make presentation to the judges. So, Ryan Mack, you nearby? At you. So when I call the names, I'm going to ask the judges to come up. May I do this right? Yes, I think so. Angela Grandison Reed. Clap for her, man. To be followed by Burl Francis. I'm telling the gathering. So she comes to the foot of the steps. I can't see without my glasses. No, I put it to you. Why Burl come up here without our glasses? I wonder if she leave it at our yard. Watch her now, and she can't see, so the senator will help her down. Frances Madden, where are you? Come on, Miss Frances. Burl, thank you for that little bit of, I like to laugh at you, you know that, right? But see, the glasses don't stop her from fling foot, you know, one serious dancer, you know, sit in there. Sister Frances, take time. She said she'll buck her too. Dr. Glenda Sims. So Dr. Glenda and I, when we meet, we have to talk and greet and the rest of it. Come here, Dr. Glenda. You know, watch how she's tush now. Just watch how she's tush. That's, if you have to use a walking stick, you have to use it the way Glenda uses it. You understand? You have to tush with it. You understand? At you. Then the walking stick match the pants, you know, turn there. Thank you. Congrats, Dr. Glenda. My sister, Sister Maisie Miller. Come on. You remember when we used to do Grace cooking? Maisie and I was involved with that show that's in. I all have one plaque when we get from them. You remember them days, Maisie? Come on up. We are grown there, so far. Hide, you go hide back in the bush. Nobody hide there. Maisie can cook some bread or something, you see? Woo! And I must tell you, while Maisie is here, and I know that your sister influenced Maisie in a tremendous way. But I want to tell you about your sister. For those of you who talk about sorrel and it takes too much sugar, which it does, your sister, Heather Little White, told me, Faye, blend the sorrel with pineapple and you don't need to put sugar in if the pineapple's sweet. So, see that? And I carried that with me, Lenny. All right, Valda Foot, where are you, Miss Valda? Come on up, my sister. These are the judges, remember? And now, the final judge. I don't know how I'm reaching to this, but I'm reaching there. Anthony Lawrence. Me. I'm telling you, and he has not changed. He says that's why we're young together. He just looks the same way. And while I can assure you that the judges did not have an easy task deciding who should emerge the winners, you should hear this directly from the Chief Judge, Anthony Lawrence. I gather he might be gone for his speech. So let's get the judge's report. Will you welcome him back to the lectern?
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it was indeed a special honor for those of us who were asked to serve as judges in the GraceKennedy Heather Little White Household Worker of the Year Award. It was a privileged task which we undertook with the best of our abilities to ensure that GraceKennedy's ethos of honesty, integrity, and trust is maintained throughout. I've been serving since the awards program started in 2014, and I look forward to continuing, provided I'm asked. It was great as usual working with the judges who have been part of the panel since its inception. And this year we missed having Joan Lorichin, but you were able to replace by a name that I'll mention afterwards. It was really heartwarming to see the awards tonight. I mean, this afternoon. You have shared your integrity. You have shared your knowledge in getting this awards up, and you are a fantastic judge. Dr. Glenda Sims, gender consultant who has served tirelessly since the inception, and I'm trying to fill her shoes because she has been the chief judge in the past. So I hope I pass your exam. Angela Grandison-Reed has been on the team, Mrs. Frances Madden, and of course, Maisie Miller, and Ms. Shirley Price, who was there at the inception. This year, we're pleased to have with us first-time judges, Beryl Francis, a veteran communication consultant. Beryl, you really bring additional value to the team, and we appreciate your service. And representing Ms. Price, Valda Foot did an amazing job representing the Household Workers Union. So Shirley, feel pleased, rest assured that we have a replacement for you when you're off traveling. So ladies and gentlemen, this year there were no doubt that all the members had fantastic experiences and the most inspiring. We're grateful that this happened, and we thank GraceKennedy that we're a part of this process. Let me tell you, as an eloquent MC puts it, it was no easy task interviewing the several candidates. Firstly, reading through all the nominations that came in, and then getting a chance to meet in person the top 10. And you will see later on how it turned out. We read through all the nomination essays carefully, noting all the highlights, and then getting consensus from a team. As the only male in the room, it wasn't easy. And of course, we then invited the top 10 in for interviews. My fellow judges have found this experience very inspiring, and at times, as Mr. Webby had said earlier, emotionally challenging because of the stories that came through. Sometimes even overwhelming, but we endured. We also had some great laughter because the persons that were being interviewed brought to the table a sense of humor, sense of commitment that you don't normally see. We take for granted. And the words unsung heroes best describe these candidates because you know, you see them in the mornings at various hours taking the bus, several buses. We have had stories where some people have got to get up at 4 a.m. to get to work for 7 o'clock, and they're rearing their own families, some with 3 and 4 children, who, by the way, they are put through universities, right? So when you see the story, you'll know why this is very important for GraceKennedy. First and foremost, the candidates had to show that the alignment with GraceKennedy was real, with honesty, integrity, and trust, with a caring attitude, safety awareness, budgeting skills, time management skills, family orientation, and community involvement. The awards is an all-encompassing in nature, seeking to recognize and award the individual not only on the basis of technical ability, but for his or her character and what he or she stands for. These criteria may seem like a tall order, but our candidates succeeded this year, similarly to previous year, in impressing the judges, leaving us utterly mesmerized and humbled. Indeed, the interviews which brought some of us to tears demonstrated that many of our household workers are the unsung heroes, as we mentioned earlier. It was moving to see that this great company, GraceKennedy, saw it fit to memorialize our beloved Dr. Heather Littlewhite by honoring the category of workers for whom she was the first Jamaican to offer a certificate course through Grace Kitchens. This year, we only had one male nominee. Next year, we're going to find more male nominees. As judges, we agree that there are too many men out there doing this job and not being recognized. We have chosen the winners for 2018 to win amazing prizes from GraceKennedy, ILO, and FGB, totaling some $1.4 million this year. But for those candidates who are shortlisted as winners, will be presented, and you will see and hear why they were chosen. And we're happy that GraceKennedy sees it fitting to reward all 10 of them this year. None will leave here empty-handed, and it is a great thing to be thankful for. One thing that I must share with you, one very striking point emerged from our deliberations. It is clear that the definition of household worker has widened significantly, and in view of the fact that our population is aging, attending to the needs of elderly family members have become an important part of the work of persons working in the household. We have also noted that many household workers are not registered with NIS or NHT. And one of the recommendations, going back to Mr. Webb, is that we will encourage employers to ensure that household workers are sensitized to the benefits emanating from both NIS, National Insurance Scheme, and from the National Housing Trust. You heard the winner, the previous winner, have taken our monies and made a down payment, right, to finance a home. And there are several benefits that accrue through the National Housing Trust that they may not be aware of, and we need to help spread that message. National insurance, the pension scheme, things of this nature that we should bring to the forefront. So I ask each employer present in the room, each one of us, to just share that with our household workers and to play our role in making certain that they can have the benefits that the government have provided for them. Ladies and gentlemen, continue to care for your household workers as they care for us. Thank you.
All right, friends, we're moving on. We have arrived at that moment when I'm going to be presenting the 10 persons who most impressed the judges for the performance of their duties. I'm going to ask all 10, I'll call the names, to come up here. So the first person to come up, go right over to the left, because we want all 10 of you here at the same time, because we need to see you all. All right? So here we go. The numbers are in alphabetical order. First names, all right? Carleen Hopkins Grove. Which part Carleen is? Carleen, here she comes. Miss Carleen, lovely. When you come up, Carleen, just go to your left. Clap her, you're supposed to clap her. Cynthia O'Connor. Okay, Miss Cynthia. Yes, I was admiring your hair the entire time. Miss Cynthia, how are you? Praise the Lord. Could I have an amen? Amen. Glenna Gale. Where's Miss Glenna? Oh, come, Miss Glenna. All right, he's going to be a fixture right here now, okay? Gwendolyn Marshall. He's going to be the marshal. Gwendolyn come on, Miss Gwen. Come on, Miss Gwen. And you know, when you do awards functions or functions like these, you learn new names. And I'm going to share a name that I'm learning for the first time. Simone, tell me if you know this name. Irene Synard. Irene, thank you for the opportunity to learn a new name. Did you know that? S-Y-N-A-R-D. So we're learning Synard. Did I do that right, Miss Irene? Sorry, I do try to grow up, but it's not working. Lola Clark. Where's Miss Lola? Here comes Miss Lola. You can go over a little tips more. Right. Go on, Miss Lola. Yes, sir. Marcia Channer. Here comes Miss Marcia. And it gives me great pleasure to say, Michael Brown. Michael Brown. Woo! Rosemary Forrester. Where's Rosemary? Here comes Rosemary. Hello, Miss Rosemary. Take time. You saw the chair hang on by your cardigan. No mind, I'm in love. And to finish off the 10, Vidalin Service. Where's Miss Vidalin? Miss Vi. I bet everybody call you Miss Vi. Miss Vi. Come on up here, Miss Vi. All right. You want to do an arc? You tell me, Rudolph. You want to do an arc? Come on.
You have to check on these things, you know. That's when I will tell you. Vidalin, right. Rosemary's right beside Vidalin. All right, Michael Brown, the gentleman there now. Then we're going back now to Marcia Channer, who's right here. Marcia, that's you, right? Actually, look forward to the photographers. I want to come from all the photographers. Don't come with that red arms there and bring them across. Is that, should be Lola now? Lola Clark? Lola, right? Don't turn your back to the camera, Miss Lola. Look at the camera, look at the camera. Those two dimples, we have to see the two dimples there. All right. Now we should have Irene Sinard is next. And then Gwendolyn Marshall, you should be next. Gwendolyn, let's get forward so we can get your picture. And then Miss Glenna Gale is going to be next in just a second. Right, here comes Miss Glenna. Smile, Miss Glenna, smile, Miss Glenna. Smile, man. She has such a beautiful complexion. And I see, who has to come? Who has to come? Cynthia O'Connor, it's your turn. Oh, listen to them smile here, man. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And number 10, Carly Hawkins Grove. Miss Carly, here we go. Don't turn your back, Miss Carly. The photographer is here. Right. All 5 of them. Wonderful. So, why don't you sit in the middle so we can take a good photograph? I come and know that through the photo.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been introduced to the top 10 contenders for the Household Worker of the Year in the male and female categories. The next item on our program is the keynote address. Now, she is very hands-on, a mother of 2 young sons. Our keynote speaker has a background in economics and accounting. You heard about her work at an auditing firm. Having pursued those subjects to the undergraduate level and accounting to the postgraduate level. Ladies and gentlemen, wife of the Prime Minister, the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, and Member of Parliament for East Roll, St. Andrew, and could I just add something else? After an earlier display this afternoon, the next Jamaican contender on the X Factor. the Most Honorable Mrs. Juliet Holness.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I feel very honored to be invited to address you today as we recognize a group of persons very often taken for granted. As we salute some very valuable members of our society whose contribution is often downplayed, and as we pay tribute to a sector which has facilitated a better life for the best among us while not always receiving the highest reward or the appropriate recognition. Our household workers have been called by various names traditionally in Jamaica, from day's worker to nanny to helper to butler, while some might even be called other things behind them back or in front of them face that we would prefer not to repeat here today. But yet all of us find ourselves like fish out of water without our Miss T, our Aunt Pearl, Mass Ran, or in my case, my Fell. Regardless of what the names or the titles might have been, the crucial nature of the task of these critical partners in the homemaking and in the maintenance of balance in the family life can never be overstated. In fact, let me give you a personal example. Contrary to popular belief, I live in a regular Jamaican home with my husband and 2 sons. It may be a little bigger house than some, and certainly a lot smaller than others. But the size is not the issue. I have a husband who works hard. Yes, he's a little busy with a few important daily tasks like running a country. But that pales in comparison to my 2 sons who are even more busy being teenage boys. And if you have ever encountered those, you know that life of a teenager is more crowded than a full-time job working anywhere. They never have time, nor do they have any interest in the menial chores or tasks around the home. I'm still struggling with them. Make your bed, straighten up before you leave. Not because you don't have help, but because you need to be able to do these things when you get older. Then there's little old me, the wife and the mother, the magician, who has to support the lives of all of these 3 young men, one grown and the other 2 not so grown, while I remain a lawyer, doctor, Indian chief, and person for my East Rural St. Andrew family. So how does my normal Jamaican household remain in balance when all 4 of us are so busy with the various roles we play both in shaping Jamaica's future and in our own lives? How we do it? How does this normal Jamaican family find time and space to eat healthily, live in a clean, hygienic environment, spend quality time together, get shopping, washing, ironing, gardening, cooking, emergency health care, counseling, homework, birthday, anniversary, and every other thing under the sun done in a single solitary day? How do we do it? Well, I know that with all my qualifications and training in accounting and auditing that me hear about this evening, and my little experience in real estate development, plus my freshly sharpened political expertise, I could not get that job done. What all my qualifications have helped me to quickly realize and accept is that we all have our areas of expertise. And so we need to give respect to those who know how to really run things. Yes, we have to leave them and make them run it. You see, the problem with many of us is manifested in something we see every day in Jamaica. You know, the man on the corner telling the truck driver who is backing up into the side, take out the lock, keep your hands straight, wrap it up, come back, hold on. All instructions that can't be possibly followed together, but all given at the same time. We also get it when the doctor tries to tell the engineer how to do his job, or the lawyer tries to tell the plumber how to fix the leak. We have not learned to give respect to the specialists who allow them to do their jobs. We need to start. Well, in my very normal Jamaican family, I've learned the lesson very hard. I have learned in a very hard way that I have to be reminded repeatedly and repeatedly, and I'm actually happy to be here today, listening and learning about the level of training, the level of commitment, because over the years, and I tell you, it took me a couple of years, me finally learned my lesson. So, having gotten to a place where life is so busy, if I never want to learn, I now know I must leave it to the specialists in household work to do their jobs, and I must simply judge and reward and give them absolutely excellent reward for the hard work that they do. Don, I must therefore say a big thank you to GraceKennedy, saluting both the memory of Dr. Heather Little-White, who did years of seminal work to bring value and recognition to these awesome technicians as partners in the homemaking process. Let us give GraceKennedy a big round of applause, and Dr. Heather Little-White. Then I must invite all to do something else. Our household workers, you just sit and relax and accept from all of us a rousing round of applause for being the real magicians. They are the real specialists who allow so many of us to not only grow up in balanced environments, but who have helped us as adults to be able to function normally in our professional lives because we know all is well at home. This brings me to the very simple point I would like to leave us with today. Partnership is key. Partnership is key because on your own, everything is much harder, more expensive, and far more time-consuming. Partnership, it is key because together we can share ideas, support each other, and have constructive disagreements which produce the right outcome. But this disagreement needs to be respectful, with respect going both ways. Partnership is key because not one of us is the repository of all knowledge, and anybody who is a know-it-all usually learns the hard way all the things they did not know they didn't know. Partnership is key to the success of all relationships, whether marriage, a happy family, a champion sports team, legendary performing groups, and equally is important in generating and creating a great nation. So in order for Jamaica to achieve its potential for prosperity, we must encourage partnerships between public and private sector, political and church organizations, between yard and foreign. Well, some people call it nice, the diaspora, and between women and men. This can only happen when we see each other as equals, when we stop disrespecting or downplaying the role of domestic and household workers, when we stop disrespecting the roles of our bus drivers, construction workers, or garbage collectors, when we stop seeing those honest, hard-working Jamaicans as lesser than ourselves, and instead see them as equal partners in the development of Jamaica. We will at that time increase in our beauty, fellowship, and prosperity that we desire. When parents see teachers as equal partners in education, and lawyers see law enforcement officers as equal partners in enforcing the law, we will have a more ordered and productive society. When women and men start to see each other as equals and give each other equal respect while finding non-violent means of settling disputes, we will have a safer, happier, more loving society to love, to work, to raise family, do business, and to retire. I am therefore happy that we are recognizing my friends today, my friends and partners who have made my life much, much easier. The experts that make my ordinary Jamaican household an extraordinary place in which to live. The people who don't often get to be in the lights, but who allow us to look good under the lights. I implore you all to embrace professionalism, find ways to hone your skills even more than you have done before, and receive certification. Learn new, innovative, and efficient ways of adding more value to the households you serve, and always be honest and proud in the job you do for the people and serve, and for the country in which you live and serve. Thank you. Thank you for the honor of addressing this gathering today. Thank you, GraceKennedy, and big up to all our household and domestic workers who make our life so much more complete. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not just a well-ironed linen suit, but it is a proper, nutritious meal. It is a frame of mind because we are comfortable with the fact that they're going to tell you so. Please allow me 30 seconds. I'm so sorry that this event came about after my housekeeper migrated, Shirley Richards. She took care of my home and my son, my extended family, whenever that was, for 25 years. But the thing I remember, I will never forget, she had her own family. And when she had her last child, she brought the child to work and I took care of the child. No man, seriously, because of how she took care of us. But here what happened? The morning after Gilbert, Shirley left her yard and find herself at my yard to find out if we're all right. That don't happen unless you treat people as equals. That does not happen unless you treat people as partners. And every year, we both, one of us, first the other one, Christmas, birthday, Mother's Day. If me call for Semisphere, first me tweet. If she call me Semi-Shirley, first me tweet. But that, when she come back to Jamaica, she come to visit. You remember yesterday when you come, your glad bag bus? And she bring present to my mother who their country was 90. She, amazing woman. I just wanted to do that testimony. I don't know if Shirley will hear from you here because she's in America. But she is an outstanding woman. A woman I could trust with everything, including if they have one safety pin tie up the waist. She take it out and say, this was in that skirt waist. She never take a cent. I had to say that. Thank you so much for being here. I know this company needed you to share this occasion. I know that because of the planning that went into this. We wish for you and your family a safe, happy, holy Christmas season and a really good 2019 of course. Well, we come to that moment, you know. Someone, you don't know? You don't know? We've come to that moment, okay? We've now come to that very important moment that we've all been waiting for. I now invite the esteemed Judge Mace Miller to join me at the lectern for the announcement of Champion Male Household Worker of the Year. I'll point out here that we only had one entry in the male category, but as you yourself might consider when you hear about the work, he will no doubt the words in first place anyway. And so while Macy's making her way here, I have some stuff that I need to read. I nominate Michael Brown for the best household worker. Michael, aka Tony, has been working with me for about 30 years as a security, landscaper, handyman, and painter on a well-fruited 1-acre property. The neighbors always compliment Tony on the fine care he takes of the trees and flowers and his ability to prune them into circular and other shapes. As a handyman, Tony abhors a messy surrounding and always keeps the paved surfaces meticulously clean. As a painter, Tony is second to none, with his ability to paint edges and corners. And between me and you, I know everybody can paint edge and corner. An example of his work can be seen on the Hope Gospel Assembly at 136 Hope Road. All these things Tony does with one hand. Tony has had a wretched life. He lost his hand through jealousy. He lost 2 sons who died violently. But through it all, Tony has maintained his sanity and his faith in God. Winning this award would be an answer from God, because Tony has just received a piece of land that belonged to his deceased mother, and this award will go towards building his first home. Inside, I am Claude Evans. Michael Brown. Champion male, GraceKennedy, given to my household worker of the year in Michael Brown. Simone. Jamaican, I hope you want to go pick up the stuff. I know I'll put 3 kerchiefs in my mouth. 3 kerchiefs. Now obtain a right from high-low food stores. May I ask you to come forward to present the sponsor's prize to Michael Brown? May I tell you? Mercy. So, Marion McIntosh Robinson, President of First Local Bank, I'd like to present the sponsor's prize to Michael Brown. Let me stay the one other one to you if you want, because you're getting on a subject. Okay. I'm nervous. Then Senator Webby and the most honorable Juliet Holness, I'd invite you to the podium of this time for the presentation of the perpetual trophy to the champion name. You have no Mrs. Holness asked me if you needed any help with the envelope there. If she take them, everybody will say she done. Mr. Webby, drop this because his face is not. So, no, you stand up all right now. We just want to make sure that the trophy is not masking your face.
Sir Brown used that hand rest on the trophy. That's all the trophies, right? Thank you.
The conversation here in this woman's student, showing you how to turn the dog pen. We are trying to read the rest of the
first runner-up. The first runner-up female household worker of the year is none other than Cynthia O'Connor.
We nominate Cynthia O'Connor, affectionately known as Cordell. Cordell has worked with my family for almost 8 years. Cordell takes very good care of our family, and even in this day and age of household worker specialization, she does everything from cooking, cleaning, ironing, washing, and most importantly, childcare. And she does them all so well. She manages the house like a ship, maintaining her own developed schedule to ensure everything gets done. While she knows that the children are her priority, she works to ensure that nothing is neglected. Cordell is very trustworthy. We have to travel quite a bit, and she's able to manage the kids on her own. We trust her completely to care for them while we are away. She ensures that they are well taken care of, get to school on time, coordinates their schedules and homework, all while still keeping the house together. She can cook, and she's not afraid to try new recipes. She also manages many different appetites and diets, special salads, detox meals, and never once makes you feel as if it's too much work. She's very respectful, open, and honest. We talk, we listen, we share, we discuss. She takes care of our children as if they were her very own. Our children love her to pieces, and they miss her when she's gone. There's nothing more comforting to know that our children feel safe and loved. Cordell is an exceptional woman, well deserving of this award. Heidi Hanno and family. Ladies and gentlemen, Cynthia O'Connor. Food stores to present High-Lo's sponsorship prize to Cynthia O'Connor. 20% off on Thursdays for fruits and vegetables. And a 5-burner word-cooled stove giving away for Christmas. Thank you, Miss Donna. Now we have Robinson, and now we come on up, my sister, to present your company's prize to Cynthia O'Connor. And all when they must be all the good works, we still find my way in there. True. And then, Stephen William, where are you? GraceKennedy's Chief Investment Officer, presenting the Ronald Trophy to Cynthia O'Connor. Where was she? Yeah, I didn't want you to. Clap them, please.
I see her down.
Are you ready for it?
Right. Hold her hand.
Clap her one more time. Anthony Lawrence, you need to make the final announcement here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, my job is about to come to an end. It is indeed a pleasure to announce the female household worker of the year. And that person is no other than Rosemary Forrest.
Therefore, we will read what was sent in. Miss Rosemary Forrester has been working with me for 26 years. Initially, I thought her too young for the job, but she quickly disproved me. She's an integral part of our family, so much so that Her children, who spend part of their summer holidays with us, are very good friends with my daughters. Rosemary can be described as reliable, professional, trustworthy, and honest. Polite, well-mannered, willing, caring, intelligent, with more than average academic skills, a great meal planner and creative cook, a wonderful housekeeper, requiring little or no instructions. She uses her initiative to keep her home clean, attractive, and welcoming at all times. In addition, she has cared, nurtured, mentored, and disciplined our children, now adults, as if they were her own, and now extends the same care to my granddaughter. Assisted with homework and kept the children's company while they burnt the midnight oil at university, and above all, she has been a great mother to her own 2 children, both now adults with university degrees. I take great pleasure to nominate Rosemary Forrester, my housekeeper and now family member, for this prestigious award. To present Highlo's Winner's Prize to Rosemary Forrester. I think I've had a Hilo dog food brand. Yes, I want to know. Let me invite Marion McIntosh Robinson to present the prize for Rosemary Forrester. I guess it was half an hour from what the mom. Don't worry, I'm taking it easy with me. But I'm right tonight. After the pause back. Oh, come on, put your hands together for. Alright. And now I'd like to ask Senator Don Webby to present the champion trophy to Rosemary Forrester. And you're talking us, make sure you touch it. Rosemary, touch the trophy, hold it like a pale one. Yeah. Alright. And while that is happening, Mrs. Holness, might I like you to join us here? All right, let's get another picture now.
Could you put on it, Mr. Webby? And it's right.
Turn it down there. Get heavy enough. This is just such an inspiring afternoon, isn't it? Yeah, agree? An inspiring afternoon. I'm grateful for sharing this with you.
Tell it to you all.
You hear that? Can I go back a bit more with it? We can manage it a little more. Yes. Yeah. You hear the camera? You know, so Gino almost actually knows Clap them again one more time. Champion League and Champion Female Household Work of the Year. A man and woman in whom we are well pleased.
Must have been cool there in my shadow. with all the glory. You are the one with all the strength. A friendly face that had no name. The seer, I never once heard you complain. Oh, do you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I would like to be, and I can fly higher than an eagle. You as the wind beneath my wings. This is what your boss told me to tell you. It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but they've got it all there in their hearts. That's why today you're the winners. Yes, you are. And I never once heard you complain. Oh, do you ever know that you're the hero? You're everything they wish they could be too. They can fly higher than an eagle. You as the wind beneath their wings. Do you ever know that you're you're everything I would like to be, and I can fly higher than an eagle. With you as the wind beneath the
Thank you so much, Mr. Pessoa. Great choice. Thank you very much. Are the employers here? Are the employers in the room? Yes, we just want to put our hands together for the employers. I thought so, and I saw you taking pictures. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost done. Our winners have asked for the opportunity to express their thanks. So might I ask Rosemary Forrester and Michael Brown to come to the microphone at this time.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Juliet Hones, the CEO, Mr. Don Webby, executives, fellow nominees, special invited guests, good afternoon. Firstly, I would like to thank GraceKennedy for choosing to celebrate household workers through this Household Worker of the Year award. The household worker is an unsung hero, and we thank you for bringing attention to the contributions we are making to the home and the community. I would also like to thank the nominators who took the time to big up their staff. I would like to thank the fellow nominees for the outstanding contribution they have also made. Thanks to our families who have sacrificed so that we could carry out our role. Finally, by no means least, thank you to the persons who have worked behind the scenes, organizing this special day for us. It is appreciated, and you are appreciated. Thank you again to GraceKennedy and the contribution they are making to make Jamaica a better place. Thank you.
What should I say now? Well, I'd like to thank GraceKennedy and all the groups here for really appreciating me. And thanks to the motivation and upliftment from all of you, because I really need that. I've been going through a lot of things, and what happened today, it made my life much better. I feel good inside. I don't know what word to say, but thanks to you all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Ellington. Thank you very much. You take that shot? Take Mr. Brown. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, what a special moment. Wow. This is by no means an ordinary afternoon. And it is an afternoon that I also acknowledge and celebrate my late maternal grandmother. She was born on the 18th of December, and today is the 18th. I want to share something with you. This date changed about 2 times before it was settled on for this date. Here's Dion. Dion is an amazing woman. I'm going to share a story with you. So the last time it was changed to the 18th of December, I wrote to Dion Simone and I said, I'm so sorry, I cannot do the program because I record Profile on a Tuesday afternoon. That was weeks ago. It so happened that TVJ asked me if I could give up today because they wanted to record some of their holiday programming. I called Dion and I said, expecting to hear her say, yes, I have found somebody else. I said, Dion, have you found somebody else for this? She said, no, I was waiting on you because I knew it was going to happen. What faith? What faith? And I'm so glad you waited on me because I would not have missed this afternoon for anything in the world. Thank you. All that is left for us to do is what Mr. Webby said at the end of his speech, and that is to remember the true meaning of Christmas as we step out and step forward. I know that Lenny Littlewhite, somewhere between 2 and 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, is going to be posting on WhatsApp. I don't know. I know I have a weird sleeping pattern, but feel one weirder than for me. 2 o'clock him post something, sometimes 3 o'clock, sometimes 4:30, sometimes 1 o'clock. So I say, and then you're going to ask me, Faye, but what are you doing up at that time? So we're both weird alike. But Lenny, your sister was a trailblazer. She was no ordinary woman, none at all. I remember serving with her as chairman on the Values and Attitudes Committee. And just the way she managed, how she led. So you can rest assured, although we know you miss her physical being here, you can understand that her legacy will never, ever be forgotten in this country. And thanks to GraceKennedy for endorsing that. Brothers and sisters, almost said a benediction. All right, the way I'm going on. Please be safe. Look out for those who may have a little too much to drink or may be a little too merry. Look out with the defensive driving that you have to practice. Make sure you're checking all around. And remember, your most vulnerable spot is at your gate. Day or night, coming in or going out, be vigilant. Until when next we meet, may I say, walk good and tell them other one how to do.